What's going on, guys? Uncle Tuna here, back with another video guide, and today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite Dark Souls 2. Specifically, our goal here today is to become a low-level Sunbro. Now, why would we want to become a low-level Sunbro, you ask? Well, that's easy. First of all, to engage in the most grossly incandescent jolly cooperation with players in the early areas of the game. Second, to get sun medals, which aren't altogether easy to get in the regular game unless you're playing through with a buddy. Third, we've got the annual Return to Drangleic on right now, so there will be plenty of opportunity to co-op, and I don't know about you guys, but I relish the chance to assist new players. So all around, it's a great time to become a low-level Sunbro, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
Our run has 3 major objectives, which we'll be getting into a little later. I've put this guide together with steps that you can follow along with exactly as they're presented to you here, but other than the major objectives, you can do your own thing. This guide is intended for anyone who wants to get the Sunbro Covenant as early as possible while accruing the lowest amount of souls possible with the intent to help low-level players in early game areas. You may deviate from this guide, but please note that there are some things that absolutely must, and I mean must, be done in order to complete the character. So let's begin.
So let's take a brief minute to talk about why it's a bit of a pain in the balls to actually become a low-level Sunbro in Dark Souls 2. Unlike the other Souls games, it is not at all straightforward here, and we have a thing called soul memory to thank for that. You see, soul memory is a record of all the souls you've collected in the game. It keeps track of all the souls you earn, what by defeating enemies, beating bosses, and consuming soul items.
Well, that's great and all, Tuna, but what does that have to do with anything?
I'm glad you asked. Let's say we don't become a Sunbro, and we don't do all our mission objectives. You get your white sign soapstone and help as many players as you can with the early game areas. That's great and all, but as you help people and beat bosses, you are also collecting souls, and eventually your soul memory will be so high that you can't connect with those low-level players anymore. Soul memory is the only matchmaking prerequisite in Dark Souls 2, so without a way of stopping that soul count, you will ultimately soul memory yourself out of the market you're trying to stay in. That sucks, but I've got the solution to all that and more, so just follow along and we'll get you up and running as a fully fledged Sunbro in no time. Alright guys, so this guide is split into 3 parts, which correspond to the 3 main objectives we have. You might want to set aside a bit of time to get all this done too, because this isn't something that you're going to get done in half an hour, sadly. It will require a bit of a time budget. I timed myself, and the quickest I could get this done was about an hour and a half, doing everything we have to do and everything I recommend we do. So it might take you upwards of 2 hours if you're following along and you croak a couple of times. But just be patient and we'll get through it, alright? I guarantee it. Also, there is a very specific order in which we must do everything, so make sure you pay attention to where we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. And don't worry, every component of the run is in the video description with a timestamp. So the first thing we have to do is create a new character. We can't erase or eliminate soul memory, so we're not going to be able to repurpose another character. Additionally, we want to keep our soul memory as low as possible until we reach a certain point in the game, so it's always best to start off at 0. Remember, the more of our soul count we minimize, the more new players we will be able to connect with. So let's get started, huh? I'll be starting with the Knight class. There are lots of classes that are good to start with. Warrior, Knight, Swordsman, Bandit, Cleric are all good. Sorcerer if you want to pew-pew things. Explorer and Deprived are a little more challenging. I have a set plan for my character that you can duplicate if you like. It will be all melee and will feature an early game weapon we'll be picking up in a little bit here. For that weapon, we need 10 strength and 9 dex, so we will have to budget some souls for that at some point. Not just yet, though. Also, I will be using the Buckler parry shield later on after the character is finished. Or finished for the sake of this video anyway. So I will need 13 dex for that. Don't tell anyone I leveled that up. I also like the Knight class because it has the highest HP of all the starting classes, and that will really help us on our journey. But really, guys, you can start with whatever class you like. But there are some things that are non-negotiable with this run, and we will need to satisfy a few requirements at certain times. We'll get into that so there won't be any surprises down the road. Uncle Tuna doesn't like surprises. One thing that is non-negotiable is we need at least 3 intelligence in order to interact with a merchant later. Only the Bandit class starts with less than 3 intelligence at 1. So if you pick Bandit, that's fine. Just be prepared at some point to put a couple points into intelligence for later. We will have many opportunities to level that stat up twice, so don't worry about it just now. I would recommend putting those 2 points in after we beat the first boss, but any time is fine. All other classes meet the 3 intelligence requirement. So let's talk about your starting gift, which is not too important in this game. I prefer the petrified something, although chances are you'll get something you won't even use, although you could get the white ring, which could make getting summoned later kind of funny, but whatever. If you're very new to the game and or you tend to get hit a lot, or you think you're going to get hit a lot, and believe me, it's easy in this game, the life ring is never a bad choice. Healing wares can also be very useful in this regard as well. So pick whatever you want. Let's talk about the tutorial for a moment. You don't have to go through the tutorial at all. You can head straight through to Majula if you like. I only go through here so that I can trade with the birds, but it's completely optional. You will want to go through here if you pick the petrified something, as you will definitely want to trade that. You will also have a small, smooth, and silky stone to trade if you've been following along. Once we get through, we can hit the ladder so we can easily get back here again. Okay, so trading with the birds, you can drop multiple items into the nest. Just make sure you only drop 1 of each item at a time. Otherwise, the birds will not be happy and will tell you to F off. You can only trade Prism Stone, Small Smooth and Silky Stone, Smooth and Silky Stone, and Petrified Something.
Take it easy, take it easy.
We will also want to drop down just before Majula to pick up a few items. We can help ourselves to the Morning Star, which is a pretty good early game weapon that has a bleed modifier. Only the warrior class can actually one-hand this thing out of the gate at 15 strength, so everybody else will have to two-hand it if they are even able to. As we started with the knight class, we can two-hand this thing if we like, but the broadsword is quite good too, so up to you. The only classes that won't be able to use the Morning Star at all are the Sorcerer, Explorer, and Deprived. So if you picked one of those, you're stuck with what you started with for now. But of course, you can always level up your strength later on if you want to use the Morning Star. Once at Majula, we will quickly run around and get everything here before we set off. We want to pick up a Titanite shard, an Estus Flask shard,
some life gems,
some Homeward Bones, and a couple of soul items. We also want to speak to the Crestfallen Knight and exhaust his endless dialogue in order to join his covenant. We don't care about the covenant at all, we just want the ring he gives us, because when we put it on, it gives us a very small HP boost. Every little bit helps. Definitely do not join the Covenant up here, the Covenant of Champions, or COC, because that will make the game very difficult for us, and we don't need that bullshit. Before we leave Majula, make sure you speak to the Firekeeper so you can hand in your new Estus Flask shard. Equip your Estus and whatever else you like, and we're ready to get going. Now the first thing we're going to do is pick up a shield, as Knight class does not start with a shield. Yes, I know, shields just engender passivity, but we're going to kind of need to have one for all the cheap shit the game is going to throw at us early, so let's just get it done, okay? On the way to Hade's Tower of Flame, we'll find a nice Crimson Parma in a chest here. We can go ahead and equip it, then proceed to the bonfire. If you're fast enough, you can run through and sit at the bonfire without having to mess with the big guy. Also, the White Knights here are Hade Knights. Hey! And they won't mess with you unless you mess with them. So, we'll leave them for now. Once we've sat at the bonfire, warp on back to Majula and we'll carry on. Back at Majula, we'll head this way toward the Forest of Fallen Giants. This part can be a pain in the ass, but if you have to kill a few guys, so be it. But if you're quick on your feet, you can skip a fair chunk of the action. Make it to the first bonfire, and we'll go from there. Now, from the first bonfire here, we can zip through to the next part, but be advised that a lot of the enemies in this game will chase you for an unusually long time, and saving and quitting won't reset their position unlike in other games. So it might be best to avoid any future bullshit by taking out a few of the guys along the way here. Once you reach this fog gate, as long as we don't have the whole football team on our ass, we should be good to keep going. If there's any hollows on you here, take them out before we go in. This part can be really annoying. We want to isolate each opponent so we can take them out individually, but that doesn't always happen. Our goal is to make it to the bonfire in one piece. After that, we'll be getting our main instrument of total annihilation, but more on that in a moment. I actually do recommend killing all the guys in this immediate area up until we get to the top of all the stairs here. After that, you can kind of run around them and avoid them. And you'll notice I've run all the way to the back just to get the buckler that I'm going to be using later. You don't have to use that, that's just something that I like to use. You'll notice that we lit the bonfire but didn't actually sit on it. That's mostly because there was an enemy there, but also because we want a clear path back to the bonfire after we go get everybody's favorite, the fire longsword. If we stop at the bonfire, we will have to kill some dudes all over again, and this unnecessarily adds to our soul memory, which you know is the main thing we're trying to avoid. But if you're totally out of juice and you need to stop, that's okay. You can always get to the next part and homeward bone back if you feel you have to. Once all the enemies down here, including Turtle Man, are pushing up daisies, we can negotiate the cave here to acquire our weapon of choice. Somehow we actually get some iframes while we're opening the door, which is nice. Thanks, Miyazaki. Open the chest and take your prize, boy. If you didn't kill all the enemies down here, you'll find out in a hurry because they usually bum rush you in here after you've opened the door. To get out, wait until the fire salamander thing shoots 3 times, then run out the door. You have just enough time to grab the soul item on the way out. Then all we do is go grab a couple of life gems before heading up the ladder. Through the hole in the wall. And now we can just go to the bonfire, only for real this time. Before we proceed, let's buy a couple things from this revolting merchant here. Ideally, we should have enough souls to purchase the key item she sells. I also like to pick up at least 1 firebomb for something a little later, but it's not really necessary. Once we've parted with our hard-earned souls, we'll go up the staircase here for some swag in a dark room. The door is locked, but a few swings with your mighty sword or your fist will turn that door into kindling in no time. Just be ready once the door breaks because there's a crystal lizard inside. You can target lock him immediately after you get into the room and swing away. If you don't get him, go back to the bonfire and try again until he's dead and you've picked up his items, as we will need those to upgrade our new sword. Get the items and the chest inside, then go through to the next room. There's a hollow soldier sleeping one off on the wall here. Take him out or risk having him make your life a living hell when you go to open the chest nearby. If you want, you can drop down onto the tree for a divine blessing, but the risk of death is considerable, so it's up to you. Once that's all done, we'll carry on. Since we don't have enough souls to level up, we might as well continue with the area for now, as there's something very important we need to do here. But before we do that, equip the firebomb you bought, or if you didn't buy one, equip your new fire longsword in one of your right-hand weapon slots. Unfortunately, we don't have enough decks to use that at the moment, but we can still use it for something. Head down the big ladder and proceed through the only way we can go, going up the big route here. And dropping off into this round area. Help yourself to some torch time. Then make it to the ladder and get these guys out of your life if you have to. We'll drop down this next part to get a titanite shard. Then take the 2 ramps back to the ladder we just went up a second ago. Now we'll go through the rest. We need to make a jump here to traverse a gap in the structures. Once we're across, make your way into the cave, but beware the giant ball rolling down. It's a beginner's trap. Once the ball has passed, go get the human effigy and go up top to speak to Kale, the map guide. Exhaust his dialogue over the course of the next 30 years, and he'll give you a key to the mansion in Majula, something we absolutely require. Down you go to the ladder. We don't have to kill everybody here, which is nice. Back on the tree root. Go all the way up and make a left. We can actually avoid these enemies, so let's do that. Until we get to the end, where you'll notice a lot of suspicious looking barrels. If these barrels take any fire damage at all, they'll explode and blow a hole in the wall, giving us a nice shortcut back to the bonfire. You can try lobbing a firebomb at them, or, to really light up your life, go give them a whack with your fire longsword and that'll do the trick. Just make sure you chug up first. Once we're back at the bonfire, let's head back to Majula. Alright guys, back at Majula, we need to open up the blacksmith's shop for him so he can do some work for us. Go open the door to the shop, then go inside and help yourself to the short bow in the chest. Speak to him outside, then go to the bonfire and warp to Majula. Alright, so I really want us to get into that fire longsword, but we just don't have the dexterity for it at this time. So we're going to have to go get some souls, which is just fine. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that mansion key that we got from Kale, that long-winded idiot, and we are going to infiltrate the mansion in Majula. And it's actually really nice that he gives us that key, because there's a lot of really good stuff in here that we need, starting with this Pharaoh's Lockstone. When we go back to the Forest of the Fallen Giants, we are going to need that to open up a secret area. The next thing we'll do is we are going to bop down to the basement. Now, he warned us about this, but we really do need to kill this skeleton. This guy can be a pain in the balls. And he will drop a nice human effigy for you. We are also very pleased to get this Estus Flask shard. And also we will pick up this soul vessel, which is in the chest here, that will allow you to reallocate your stats in the event that you did not know that. Then we will make our way to the upper floor of the mansion so that we can pick up some titanite shards and some more torch time, and that really is all there is to the mansion. Sometimes if you leave from the roof there, I see I'm looking back here, the piggies on the side of the house might hear that and come after you. So As soon as you can, just run to the bonfire and sit on it. Now we have enough souls to level up Dex. Don't tell anybody you did that. I'm not going to tell anybody I did that, that's for sure. 1 point into Dex. Oh yeah, of course, we got to hand in our Estus Flask shard. And with 1 point into Dex, finally we'll be able to use our Fire Longsword. Now that's all right.
I'm all right.
We'll go ahead and equip that Fire Longsword in the event that we hadn't done that already. And we'll just speak to the blacksmith. I think we're going to need some more souls to level this sword up. We have a ton of Titanite. Oh, we can upgrade it one time, so we can get it to +1. Perfect.
Perfect.
Once we have upgraded that, handed in our Estus Flask shard, and upgraded our dexterity, we can go to the bonfire. And we will be going back to the Forest of the Fallen
Giants.
So the next thing we need to do is go use that Pharos Lockstone we got from the mansion to get some much needed equipment. From the bonfire, we will exit the hole in the wall and take a left. We don't have to fight these two guys as they're too dumb to chase us down the ladder, but the next group of guys will more than make up for these two. Approach the big hole in the wall, wait for the sound of the ballistas loading, then move away from the wall immediately so as not to get harpooned. If you're lucky, one of the hollows will get blown to bits, but you'll still have to contend with 3 more of these guys, and they are pretty nasty. If you eat shit here, just come back and do it again. It's okay. We've all died here about 1 million times. Once inside, pick up the items we won't be using, because why not? Then walk around behind the ballistas and take the ladder down. Get the chest first, but be warned, it's a trap chest. Make sure you have your shield on and you're not two-handing your weapon. We will need to either block an attack or roll away from one. It all depends on which attack the chest decides to do, and we won't know until we've opened it. If it's poison gas, roll away backwards like you see here. If it's the crossbow, just face the chest and block. Once the chest has done its thing, don't forget to pick up the Titanite shard inside, as we will be using that. Next, use the Pharos Lockstone by placing it in the mouth, in the face, in the wall. Then go to the lit up part of the wall and smack it. Get the chest inside and put on the Chloranthy ring, which will assist in stamina recovery. Finally, we must go up to the door in here and punch it or strike it a few times. You can punch it in order to save weapon durability, the more you know. Smacking the door will alert the guards inside, who will come out and try to mess you up. Take them on one at a time, and when all 3 are dispatched, help yourself to the life ring in the chest inside. Make sure you have equipped all your new rings.
So, which will it be? All.
Then we will go back up the ladder and get going. Head straight through this way. Then go right for a couple items. If anybody followed you, take them out before engaging the guards ahead. One at a time, please. You can try parrying them if you want. Next, we'll go through the fog gate and hang a right. This hollow will not get up unless he's bothered, or at least that's my experience anyway. Go around back to get the shield and equip it. Next, we can go through to the one-way door and open it. Go up the ladder, hit the bonfire, and go back to Majula. We should have enough souls to level up our sword, so let's do that. If not, no big deal, we'll continue on to Heir's Tower of Lame. And I didn't say Heir's Tower of Flame, I said Heir's Tower of... Alright, let's just get on with it then. Alright guys, so this next part is going to be a bit of a challenge depending on how you want to do it. I'm going to show you the quote-unquote proper method, which has you kill all the big guys and activate both of the levers so that you can't fall off during the boss fight. More on that in a minute. We will be running up our soul memory here, but not too much, and remember, we're only going to kill the big guys. The White Knights will leave us alone until we've beaten the boss, and at that point, we probably won't be coming back here anyway, so just ignore the White Knights. We definitely want to isolate each opponent here because they can gangbang you pretty effectively, which is why I recommend going through and killing them all to make a clear path to the boss. The Hammer Bros are pretty vicious, but just take your time and do them one at a time and you'll be fine. It is better to roll their attacks rather than block at this point, but you'll figure it out. And hey, if it takes you a couple of tries, no big deal. There are 7 great big dudes in total, and we're going to waste them all. Killing the third guy will allow a platform to rise, as you see here. That will help us during the boss fight, as it's pretty easy to fall off in there when shit gets real. Same thing with the fourth big guy here. Kill him and the pedestal will rise so you can elevate another platform in the boss area. Better take out the other 2 dudes before we go after the lever though, or at least the one guy on the right who will chase us all the way to the end. We do not want anybody chasing us to the fog gate though, and we'll get into why that is right now. There's a chest at the end here, and conveniently, although not for us, there's a Heir Knight sleeping on it. That sucks, because in order to get what's in the chest, and it's something we want, we will need to get him out of the way, and there's really no good way to do that other than bopping his baloney. And by that I mean give him a high, hard one. I mean we're gonna have to kick his ass. That wouldn't be a problem if those Heir guys weren't complete and total a-holes. So here's what I do. If you're in human form, which hopefully we are, go ahead and summon our pal Masterless Glencore at the end. Then, while he's coming in, go up to that Heir Knight and give him what for. Just one hit, and then go back to the big round area. Glencore will go to your defense and engage the enemy, at which point you can go get the chest and help yourself to the Ring of Binding, something we will most certainly be using. This ring mitigates the HP loss you sustain every time you die, so it's kind of an important one to grab. You can either help Glencore kick the guy's ass, or you can go to the fog gate and go in. Sometimes Glencore gets knocked off, so be prepared for that to happen. We don't absolutely need him for the boss, but it is nice to have him for that Heir Knight. If he survives the Heir Knight, it's a bonus. Once that's all done, we'll go to the boss. This boss uses the classic Dark Souls 2 formula of the area is difficult, but I'm not. But at such a low level, he can still beat the shit out of us pretty easily. Stamina management is paramount, and you are better off rolling to avoid his attacks as opposed to blocking. I would also recommend against using target lock for this fight if you can manage it, but if you're not so hot with constantly whipping the camera around, just do what you gotta do. However we have to win, I don't care. Sometimes you might only get one hit in after you've rolled all his attacks. That's okay. Don't get greedy. There is a way to cheese this boss, but I haven't done it. You can look it up on the YouTubes if you like. It really trivializes this fight, but I don't find this fight to be all that bad anyway, so I personally never bothered to look into it. Either way, eventually he goes down and we'll collect the dough. That's a nice 12 grand in my pants, boy. From here, we'll go up the spiral staircase to the bonfire, and you can sit on it and rotate if you like. And we actually have to talk to this NPC here. We must exhaust her dialogue because we're going to need her for something later. So make sure you do that. And when we're all done here, we'll go back to Majula. Actually, before we take off, I wanted to show you that it is possible to zip through here without killing anything, but it will make some things a pain in the ass later, which is why I don't recommend this method. You won't be able to raise any of the platforms in the boss room, so there's that. And you'll have everything chasing you to the fog gate, which means you'll have a hell of a time getting that ring. You can do the suicide method for that ring, as you see here, which does work, but it leaves you with having to start over from the bonfire, obviously. Also, it's real easy to fall off or get knocked off during the boss fight, but it is doable. Either way, it's totally up to you, but I recommend doing it the long way just so we don't have these headaches. Now, let's get back into it. Back to Majula we go to upgrade our weapon as best we can. I was able to get the Fire Longsword to +4, which is about where we want it to be for what we're going to do next. I spent the rest of my souls on leveling up. Now would be a good time to put those extra levels into intelligence if you pick the bandit class. Remember, we need a minimum of 3 intelligence for something later. You'll see I put 4 points into dex so I can use the buckler
and the short bow.
Realistically, put your points into whatever you like. My recommendations are always vigor and endurance, and adaptability is a good choice too, but remember, we won't be able to put a ton of points into anything, so you want to kind of be careful with it. You really can't go wrong with vigor and endurance, so if you don't know what to put your points into, I'd put them into those 2 stats. When we're all done here, we'll warp out to the Tower of Flame bonfire to continue. From the bonfire, we'll make our way across to a new area. Bop on down the spiral staircase or jump off if the mood strikes you. Pick up this monastery charm as we might need it to cure our poison later. Yes, there is poison in this game, believe it or not. Take out the big guy here because if you don't, he'll chase you down the hall and ruin your life while you're trying to pick up the sick items over there. Continue on to the middle and down the stairs. Then hang a left and take out this guy. I parried him after some failed attempts, but you can just circle around him and backstab his ass if you prefer that. You don't have to kill him either, but you definitely want what's in the chest he's guarding, so it's best to just get rid of him. Take the contents of the chest, then make your way to the elevator and take it all the way down over the course of the next 30 years. Seriously, Dark Souls 2 had the longest elevators until Elden Ring came out. Sheesh. So once we're at the bottom, just exit the room and head straight and don't stop for nothing, Jesus.
Then I ran out. I didn't grab no shoes or nothing, Jesus.
Leave via the hole in the wall. Move to the bonfire, light it, and then it's back to Majula to hand in our bone dust. So you don't actually hand in your bone dust to anybody, just burn it at the bonfire in Majula. We do this to strengthen the charge of our Estus flask, and we'll definitely want to get this done before we continue, because shit gets real in the next area. I'm also going to recommend putting a hat on in the event that we didn't already. When we're all done, we will warp to No Man's Wharf and face the shitty music. Now, I'm not going to bullshit you guys. This next part is brutal and long. We're going to have some help here and there, but it is a particularly nasty area, so I'll walk you through it to make sure we do everything we need to do here. First thing we do is light our torch. If you haven't used a torch before, stand at the bonfire and hit the Y button on Xbox or triangle button on PlayStation. The prompt for light torch will come up, then hit the A button on Xbox or X button on PlayStation to activate. We don't need a torch for the whole thing, but there is definitely a part where I really insist we have it, so it's best to just bring it along. So let's move on. Alright guys, so we will take out this first dude here. You don't have to go around lighting all these things. That dog is just never going to stop chasing you, so we want to take him out. We're going to run into here. Sometimes the guy up top will shoot you. Sometimes the Varangian will, which is like that kind of Viking dude with the double, I don't know, scimitars or whatever. He might chase you in here, take him out. We don't have to go in here, but there's a chest in here with a Titanite shard. Remember we got shot earlier when we were coming in? It's this dickhead right here. It's good to just get the jump on him. I pretty much just light these things because I feel like I'm probably going to eat shit in here, and I'm going to have to end up coming back. Get some Titanite shards here. That's really going to help us. Well, I mean, it can. It depends on if you want to upgrade something else or your armor or whatever it is. Now, we did come in here in human form, which is what I would recommend, because there is a shade here. We've got Bradley with it we can summon, and Bradley is not going to be with us for a long time because he's only a shade. If he was a full-blown white sign, then he would be here until we beat the boss or he gets killed or we get killed. But yeah, Bradley can be very, very helpful. So I recommend coming in here. If you're hollow, definitely pop a effigy so that you can summon him. He'll be with you for a little bit. Another nice thing that he does is he will actually heal you. He'll notice that, oh, my host isn't full HP, and he'll cast a healing spell, which is really, really useful and can really help you out. So in terms of saving your Estus and your life gems. So definitely, I definitely, 10 out of 10 recommend Bradley. He's so good. This dog here, pain in the ass. There's a couple of guys that are going to come down the stairs here. I pull in here. I don't know what I'm doing here. There's an NPC, Lucatiel, and you'll notice I've turned the camera around just because sometimes guys will follow you, but they haven't followed you quickly enough that you're actually noticing them when you come in here. So I like to kind of keep an eye on that when I'm talking to that NPC. Another thing is you can use your torch to break stuff, like we broke that thing in the wall there to get those effigies, and that'll save on your weapon durability, which is another thing that can kind of be a pain in the ass in this game. Now, sorry Bradley, we gotta skedaddle here, so it's okay to leave Bradley there. He's gonna catch up eventually. This is why we want the torch here, not just to light things, but also because those enemies right there are scared of fire, and as such, if you come up to them with your torch on, they'll skedaddle, and we don't want to fight them anyway. This is a really important step here. You see me light the thing on the wall and then bring my shield back up, okay? If you're going to shield, that's fine. You've got to light something nearby. Now this part is kind of shitty. I'm glad we've got Bradley with us because this part sucks. And that's why we took our shield back out. And see, now I'm dumb. I forgot to go get my torch back on. You got to do that because after we do what we're going to be doing right in this immediate area, we're not going to be able to get back here. So, and nothing else is lit except the bonfire or the torch sconces right at the beginning of the game and everything up until this point, which we can't access anymore. So definitely go back and get your torch, get some life gems and a couple of homeward bones. Now the thing we didn't talk about it, you gotta ring that bell. That's gonna make it so the boss is gonna come in, or that's so that we can get to the boss rather. And you'll see we picked up some fire arrows. We need to pick up those fire arrows for something else later. Now, this is what happens, guys. Bradley is not gonna be with us forever. So there's some more things that we have to do, but Bradley is not gonna be able to help us. Yeah, see, it's okay to switch back to your shield. Just make sure that you've lit something in the immediate vicinity so you can go back to it. This room, we need to get something in this room, and we need to
kill these guys.
You can trick him into attacking the pots, because those will poison him and make it easier to kill him. Now, this wall right here is breakable. Okay? You'll notice, yeah, this wall right here. So you'll notice the chest had the fragrant branch of yore, and we needed that. So once you attack this wall, get ready to target lock, because there's a crystal lizard in here, a couple of titanite shards, and a large titanite shard. We need those to upgrade our sword. So definitely pick up that and everything else in here. Yeah, fragrant branch of yore, that's why we came in here, because we absolutely need that fragrant branch for something a little later. There's an item over there in the corner that we're not even going to bother picking it up. If you had like a throwing knife or a firebomb or something, then we could do that. But it's really not worth it, because you're going to have to smash those poison pots, and we don't need that bullshit. Don't even fuck around. Okay, we'll go in here. Now this is a illusory wall here, you'll see, but you don't activate it by attacking it. You have activated by activating it with your action button. So A on Xbox controller and X on your PlayStation controller. And you'll notice we got another large titanite shard. We need those. And this again, we want to have our torch on. Anytime you're going to leave an immediate area that we're going to move on, you've got to have your torch, because those guys, and I don't know what that enemy's called, but he's an asshole, and if you don't have your torch, he's going to mess you up. Walk over to this big thing here and kick it over. I'll see if I've got a better footage of that. And now, we talked to Lucatiel, remember? Okay, so be careful here. Now remember, we can go light our torch again. This guy's gonna hear you, and these guys will just mess you up. They've got poise for days, and they're just not worth fucking around with. So
keep your shield on for this part.
And we've already opened the shortcut, which is that thing that we kicked over, so that we can easily get back here if we need to do that. Now here's Gavlan. We're not even going to bother talking to him, because he doesn't have anything that we want, and he will sell stuff, or yeah, he'll sell, excuse me, what the fuck am I saying? He'll buy stuff off of us in exchange for souls, right? Okay, be careful. Be careful with that guy throwing those things. He's throwing oil pots.
And we're not supposed to be carrying a torch right now.
And don't let this guy break the chest either. There's repair powder in there that we need. If it breaks, so be it. But yeah, Gavlan, or like he'll buy your stuff off you and he'll give you souls. We want to avoid that at all costs. We don't want to run up our soul count any more than we already have. Now this part you'll see we're very, very, very slow here. We are slow walking. Dark Souls 2 has the best slow walk in the franchise. Now once you get to this part, generally you can move at your normal pace. There's an armor set in here, there's a bandit axe in here. I quite like that bandit axe. I think you need 18 strength to one-hand that, which is fine. If you wanted to put your strength up a bit, you could do that. Or I think at... I don't know how much strength we have, but I'm pretty sure we could two-hand it. For the purposes of this, I like the fire longsword. Now, we're not even going to bother fighting that guy who's throwing the oil slicks at us. We got what we needed to get here, and we're going to go back out the way we came. We are going to head straight to the end here. Now, you'll see there's an item there. We could get that. If we get that, there's a dude in the water who's just going to wake up, and he's one of the Varangians, and he's kind of an asshole, so I don't even bother. I think it's a human effigy, so if you're getting low on effigies, by all means, go ahead and pick that up. Oh! Well, we'll see what it is in a second, because we went over to talk to that guy anyway, so let's see what that is. Yeah, now, we don't want Lucatiel taking a ton of damage against these guys, but luckily because we have our torch, we're unlikely to get hurt by these things. If you take your torch off, those things will be all over you like, you know, whatever on whatever, so it's,
Whatever.
It's generally recommended that we have the torch up until this point. We really don't need the torch anymore. We're going to the boss. We don't need the torch for the boss. So save the rest of your torch, and we'll get our shield back on. Now, it's up to you. Okay, so we're checking our weapon durability here. Oh shit! And of course we've got company. So we are going to have to make an example of these couple of idiots. And we don't have to fight anybody in here. We can. We'll upgrade or repair our stuff here. We don't have to fight one goddamn thing on this boat except the boss. So I always run right to the fog gate, and don't even worry about Lucatiel. She'll catch up. Now this boss isn't a hard boss, but we'll be glad that we upgraded our sword to +4 before we came here. This boss is a good example of get in, get a hit or two, and then get the fuck out of there, because this thing will mess you up. Even we're rolling away, we took a hit there, so don't get greedy with this thing. The other thing that happens with this boss fight is the water on the floor slowly starts to rise, which is going to hamper our mobility the longer the fight goes on. So we have a huge incentive to get this boss fight over with as soon as we can. And you'll see we just stun lock the boss there, which is great. Getting pancake there, that's not so great. Definitely don't get greedy. If you stun lock the boss, that's okay, but just know your limitations, because that boss is going to come out of that stun lock pretty soon. And with Lucatiel's help, we got it done. Thank you, Lucatiel. Give her a high-speed bow, and we'll be on our way. Not a hard boss. The area isn't too bad. There was a bunch of it that we missed, but most of the stuff that we covered in here was stuff that we absolutely needed to do, or it was in our best interest anyway. We'll get the chest, and then interact with this thing, and it will send us to our next destination. And we'll just let the cutscene play here. We're almost at our destination, and once we're at our destination, we'll be going back to Majula. Now we did speed this up a little bit. This is 125 speed, just so it's not too slow. The main important things that we do here: get the large titanite shards. There's the Royal Soldier's Ring, which is good. We're not really going to need that, but it's good to have anyway. And the most important thing, the fragrant branch in that chest. And we do not ever want to have to go back to that fucking place. So let's do one sweep of it, and then we're all done here. We will go back to Mahula. All right, great job. We're done with that nonsense, and we're never going back again. Here at Majula, we will upgrade our weapon as best we can, and you could go ahead and level up if you want. There's something important I need to tell you first, though, and that is that we need to save
7,000 souls
for an item we need to buy in the next area. That item is the Agape Ring. The Agape Ring is going to solve the majority of our problems because it will enable us to go kill stuff without increasing our soul memory, which is good.
That's good.
The only catch is we need to have our soul memory at 30,000 or greater in order for the dude to sell the ring to us, which shouldn't be a problem by this point. Also, the merchant we're talking about won't even give us the time of day unless we have that minimum spec of 3 intelligence, so that's why we needed that. It's not a bad idea to hang on to about
7 grand
before we set off to the next area, as we won't be killing a lot of dudes there, and as such we won't be gaining many souls. Also, remember I made a point of showing you that we need to get the fragrant branch out of the No Man's Wharf? We need that too, or else this whole Agape Ring thing just isn't gonna happen. So hopefully we've got all of those bases covered. So, with our weapon upgraded and
7 grand
in our pants, let's warp over to the Exile Holding Cells bonfire. Alright guys, so we're going to speed this up a little bit, but I really do need to explain a few things here. So, here's what we're going to do. Yeah, let's get our shield out, and we're going to try not to block anything. We're going to try to roll through it. This guy, we don't have to kill this guy. We can knock him off if we want to. He's just going to shoot us forever if we don't. We'll run past him and pick up these items. And we can run right past this guy. We don't have to kill him. Now break the wall here, because we're going to have to run through there later. And we can go in here. It's not really a terrible idea to go in here. The dogs will follow you in here, and we need to get rid of those dogs. They are so persistent, they will never leave us alone, and they'll never stop chasing us, so we really need to take them out. Also, you'll see these barrels on the floor here. Do not strike them with your fire longsword. You will blow yourself to hell. So don't do it. They're full of gunpowder or something. Now this got a little hairy in here. That's okay. We'll chug up, and we absolutely want to get what's in this chest here. You're going to love it. We've got large titanite shard and a beautiful Estus flask shard. We're going to hand that in as soon as we can get back to Majula, but we've got a long ways to go before we can do that. We'll ignore the sniper on the field there. We're going to have to open this thing here where we got 2 more dogs. Watch out for the exploding barrels. Yeah, now he's blown that one up, so that's okay. Now you'll see the big crack in the wall here. We can actually get in there, but we need to blow the wall up first, and it's really hard to do that when we come from here. There's a guy up there who kicks a barrel down, and usually that's what happens. It blows up against the wall, but it's not a big deal. We're just gonna keep going past him. We don't need to stop for him. You know, life gem, chug up if you have to. Same with this guy. If you can run past him, great. You know, he will blow up the exploding barrels all by himself. So we kind of want to get our distance from him. Go up the ladder here. We will help ourselves to a large titanite shard. Now, those 2 idiots are up there, and they're going to try to get in here. But if they can't see us, they're going to have a problem with that. So what we can do is we can kind of wait for them to fuck off, drop down right here. Now, the whole reason we came here is not to talk to that gorgeous babe Lucatiel, but to get what's in the chest right here. So we can speak to Lucatiel, that's fine. You don't have to. She'll give you a nice human effigy if we did speak to her in the No Man's Wharf, which is nice. You can exhaust her dialogue, that's just fine. Get the item in the chest. We cannot do anything we need to do here until we have this key. Perfect.
Perfect.
All right, so now we got to go back the way we came. We have no bonfire here. We didn't even bother trying to get out the other side of that room because we need a key. Yeah, or excuse me, you can only open it from the other side, which, for all I know, and with this character, we're never even going to do that anyway, and we're sure as hell not going to do that now. So let's carry on. We're going to avoid this guy. We will be long gone by the time that guy ever would catch up to us. Now, we got to pay attention here, folks. Look at the end. There's going to be something. Yeah, that's the pursuer. We want to avoid him. So we're just going to run right in here. And now he's out of our lives forever. Now, this fucker, you really got to watch this guy. You got to strike him before he strikes you. And if you don't, he's just going to blow your ass up. Don't waste any more time in this room. We'll use the key. Okay, we're running here. We're running. If the dogs come in, we're going to have to deal with them, which isn't a problem. They're worth chicken shit anyway. Yep. We're just going to run right through. Don't do anything. Go for the ladder. Okay, we can run right through here. We don't have to. We can kill these guys. It's not that big of a deal. By the time we get to where we're going, those guys will be a non-issue. Now, check this out. Flame longsword into the exploding barrel to open up the hole in the wall where we can get Archdrake robes and Archdrake shield. Now, I haven't had a look at that shield. I don't know if it's any better than what we got, but that Archdrake robe ain't too bad. And we've only got a little bit left before we're actually going to reach our goal here. But we don't want to take any chances either, so it's okay to pop a little life gem. Now, there's a dude on the ceiling, which I'm trying to show you here. I don't know how well we can see that. There's no point up in this game for whatever reason. Now, we don't have to kill this guy. This guy is actually kind of a high-risk guy. He'll knock your dick in the dirt.
And I'm gonna kick the living shit out of you, man. I'm gonna knock your dick in the dirt.
But sometimes he drops part of his armor set, which is nice. Now, there's some chests in here that... There's no trap chest in here. There's no mimics or anything. You can get this stuff. None of the stuff in here we really had to stop for. So if you're getting a little higher on your soul memory, I would encourage you to just run through, get in the elevator, and get up here, because nobody is going to chase you up here, I guarantee it. Alright, there is an item here. Skeptic Spice. I'm not going to use that. You can use that. You can look that up if you want to find out what that is. Now, these explodey guys here, we're going to want to take them all out if they're chasing us. And especially all the ones up here. But by this point in the game, we can quite easily one-shot them. This is what we need the Fragrant Branch here for, guys. If you missed it in the wharf, you're going to have to go back and get it. And that's the only branch that's accessible to us in the early game. Or at least, as far as I know, that's the easiest one to get. I'll just put it that way. Now, this is Strayed. Now, this guy will yak your fucking ass off like every other NPC in the game, which is nice, but not really. We got shit to do. Yeah, this is the other thing. He will not sell us this ring unless we have 30,000 soul memory. We need to buy this ring. This is step 1 or like this is our first goal of, or our first objective of the run. This whole thing, everything we've done so far is leading up to this point where we can buy that. Now he's got some boss weapons for sale, which we're probably not going to have the stats for, which is fine.
Boss weapons!
I mean, if you got any souls left over, you can always level up and do what you need to do. Yeah, so we need 30,000 soul memory, 3 intelligence, at least
7,000
souls on us, and we need that fragrant branch. That's the 4 prerequisites for getting this goddamn ring. But once we have it, now you'll see, well, you can't see now because we haven't killed anyone, but we're going to put it on immediately so that we don't run up our soul memory any further, okay? So that's a huge big deal. That is the major component of this run. I know the main thing of this run is supposed to be, oh, Tuna, we're supposed to become a Sunbro, right? Like, isn't that the main component of this run? Well, that's a huge part of it too, but getting the agape ring, none of this is possible without it. So we absolutely had to do that, and this whole thing has just been a culmination. And then after we get the agape ring, which we now have, now we can actually work on getting the Sunbro Covenant and getting the white sign soapstone. And if this idiot would get out of our way, and you'll notice we can kill these guys now, and there's no risk of gaining souls. We are going to be stuck at our soul memory, at our current soul memory, which hopefully for you guys is going to be less than 40,000. But if you're a little over 40,000, it's okay. All right, guys, so I am going to show you a little bonus here. This is totally optional. You don't have to do any of this. There is a shield in the lower part of this area that we're in. It's the Blossom Kite Shield, and it pretty much has the same stamina regen effect as the Grass Crest Shield from Dark Souls 1 and 3. And I always pick this up. I usually put it on every character. You'll need 12 strength to use it, so if you haven't leveled up strength at all, like I haven't, you'll have to put 1 point into strength, and then you'll be able to one-hand it. You'll be able to use it to block. So again, you don't have to do this. This is just something that I usually do. I like it. I like the shield. I think it's a good shield. The large leather shield is fine. It's a great shield. I mean, it's not a great shield, but it's like it is a fine shield, right? But you know, you'll also get some bonus points for not only being a Sunbro in like one of the first areas that you can be summoned in, but you get some style points as well for going to get a shield that you have to go through a halfway decently sized chunk of the game to go get. So don't bother if you're not interested, but this is how to get the Blossom Kite Shield if you do want to use it. And after this, we will head back to Majula. Alright guys, back at Majula, we're going to hand in our Estus Flask Shard, and that is going to do it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Alright, so this is going to be part 2, but before we get going on it, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. You'll see me going through my inventory here. I'm going to recommend to you guys to kind of go through this once in a while, because a lot of the time we'll pick stuff up and we'll forget about it. It is always good to go through what you have and see maybe I could put on something better. So this shirt, for example, is better armor rating overall than what we were wearing before. Same thing with this goofy ass hat. So go through that stuff, guys, and this is a great time to do it while we have a minute here. Also, now, you'll notice I told you that we need 7 grand for that ring, okay? And it turns out that ring was only 5 grand. I had to go back and kind of superimpose that because we need 7,000 for what we're going to do. We only need 5,000 for that ring, but we need 2,000 for what we're going to do here. Now, we don't absolutely need it because Well, let me just explain what's going on here. So this young lady is going to take our $2,000 and turn this contraption so that we can enter a different part of the game, and we need to access that part of the game because that part of the game is where the Sunbro Covenant is, you know, after a boss or two, right? Or I think it's one boss. So we could kill her and then we could do it ourselves. That option is available to you. I like to be nice to the NPCs. I don't know, I'm kind of a weenie, I guess. I don't know. $2,000, that's what it's going to cost to move that thing. She'll be happy to do it for you. Then we are going to carefully, as you can see here, it's easy to fall off. We're going to continue. Don't worry about the guy in the chair. We need 8 faith and 8 intelligence for him to even notice us, so just forget it. Alright guys, so we're just going to carry on here. Nothing too terribly exciting. We're just trying to make it to the next bonfire at this point. Careful of this poison here. Remember, if you do get poisoned, we did pick up that monastery charm a while ago, and that can cure your poison. So that is always an option to you, but of course you can only use it once. Torch Man, he'll drop a nice torch for us. Now there is something important we need to talk about that's coming up here. We're going to go up the stairs here and turn right, and after we've gone up here a few steps, there's a guy that drops down behind us. So I like to predict that and turn around at the appropriate time so I can whack him before he whacks me off. Want a little more light in here, just break the boards off the windows. Be careful at this door here. You're going to try to open this door, and there's a dude behind the door who is going to smash the door apart and then try to
Pound your face.
So be careful about that. These guys can really be nasty. I mean, look how much HP that guy took off of us there. Take care of this hollow. There's a item right around the corner here, but it's a beginner's trap. So you want to just walk out, and then walk back. Yep, trap ahead. If you go for that item before taking this guy out, he's going to come down and just bop you. And as long as your HP is not, 2 HP left, you can survive that drop. Come down here. We don't really need to kick the tree down, but definitely go to the bonfire, and we'll pick it up from here in just a moment. Alright guys, so this is a bit of a long sequence, and don't worry, I mean, you've got your gape ring on, so if you want to be cautious and kill everything, that's perfectly fine. So you can take your time and do what you gotta do. But we definitely want to take care of these guys. Usually those torch hollows will drop some torch. We got a big nasty boy coming up here. You really want to be careful with this guy. Again, this is another one of these times where I'm going to recommend don't use your target lock. If you're good with your camera, and we got plenty of firepower to take them out in a couple of goes there, but if you're comfortable not using target lock, don't use it. We're going to run straight ahead to this item in here. We don't really care about this item too much. Morningstar, we already had that. And definitely, if we're in human form, let's go ahead and summon Bashful Ray. He's going to help us. He'll give us a high-speed bow, and of course we'll return that bow. And he is so funny with his binoculars. From here, we're going to hug the wall left. Well, not into the hole there, but we're going to keep going left here. And we're going to watch out for this guy who's waiting to ambush us. And there's another little hut here that we need to enter because we need to turn the lever here inside. And of course, as soon as we do that, everybody's going to come in here. So the point of the lever is to turn the bridge that we're going to be accessing in about a minute. Everybody's going to come in. It's okay. Ray doesn't mind helping out, and he's pretty good shit. So don't let these guys get the better of you. If you want to walk around with your shield up, I don't have a problem with that. We'll walk straight across. By the way, this running hollow here there's a running hollow in this area. There's a couple of them actually, and if you're able to take them out, they will drop some pretty decent weapon, or excuse me, not weapons, but items. They always drop. Plunge this guy. If you want to try to parry this guy for the rest of your life, you can do that.
You suck.
We didn't have to come down here, but it's in our best interest to come down here because as you'll see in this chest, we have a Sublime Bone Dust, which we're going to go and hand in at Majula at the appropriate time, but we've got a long way to go before we're going to be back at Majula, so we ask you to please bear with us.
We ask that you please bear with us. Bear with you?
And we're just going to hug the wall right, and now we can actually cross the bridge. And there's another hut at the end of the bridge here, but unfortunately the door to it is locked. That's our bonfire in there. We need to get that, and we are going to get that, but there's a couple things we have to do first. So watch out for the little fucking scary guys in here. If you want to bop a little life gem action to get your HP back up, then by all means go for it. There's going to be a guy shooting you, and this guy's just going to try to bum rush you. So watch out, and eventually if you take too many hits there, you will be poisoned. Take a left in here. You don't have to sprint up here. You can wait until Ray catches up, but yeah, we want to run, and if you want, you can try to parry this NPC invader. I don't normally bother. Ray, you and Ray will have no trouble beating the shit out of her, especially with a cheeky backstab like that. Back off and chug if you like. Ray's got it. He's got it in the can. Thank you, Ray. And the whole point of coming up here was to get this undead lock-away key. Now, if you've got your bow out, you can take a shot at this poison moth, and he'll usually drop a, well, we'll see in a second. It's I think a poison moss. And down here, you can help yourself to the Flamberger. You don't have to go this way, but you can skip a few enemies if you do go this way. So I would recommend going this way after you dispatch the NPC invader. And you don't have to... Ray, move it! You don't have to dispatch the NPC invader. If you're quick enough, you can just run in and grab the key, and that's going to do it for Ray. Ray is out of here, so we better chug up because we got some bullshit coming up here. Definitely, we're going to use that sconce to light your torch, but you want to run in and bum rush this guy because that was the necromancer who's responsible for the skeletons reanimating in this area. Okay, so definitely want to take him out first, or else you're just going to be fighting the skeletons for the rest of your life. We'll light our torch here. We're going to want that. Now, in this little hallway here, there's a crystal lizard. If you're fast enough, by all means, go get him and take him out. But it is kind of dangerous because there is a skeleton here. If you eat shit to that skeleton, and maybe you didn't pick up your crystal lizard, if you got him, those items are gone forever. So it's kind of a high-risk thing, and you want to get that stuff for sure. Also, we picked up an Estus Flask shard, which we're going to be handing in after we've gone to the next bonfire. Another necromancer here, take him out, or else you'll be fighting skeletons all day. That was a curse pot. You'll see our curse meter was building up there. And I like to go ahead and light all of the things in the area here so that when we come back through here, we don't have to
Carry a torch.
and you'll see I'm actually running back so that we can light that because, oh yeah, that item there, don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. You'll never make it, and even if you do, you'll never make it back over, so forget it. I think it's just a human effigy, and believe me, it's not worth dying to get a bloody human effigy. Take my word for it. Another curse pot here. You want to take him out before he builds up your curse. We'll pick up these items, light this thing, and now we can actually extinguish our torch because we're out of here. and we can go right to the bonfire. There's an NPC in there, Creighton, and we want to speak to him because actually he's going to help us with the next boss. So go ahead and speak to him. We've sped this up about 60 million times because these guys, these fucking people in this game just never shut up. So speak to him, exhaust his dialogue, make sure you get the gesture that he's going to give you. He's warning you about Pate, by the way. Learn his gesture, that's very nice. Thank you, Creighton. And we'll go to the bonfire, and we are going to return to Majula right now. All right, back at Majula, you're going to want to hand in your Sublime Bone Dust. At the bonfire, of course, you're going to burn that. Speak to the beautiful and talented Emerald Herald, and hand in your Estus Flask Shard. Got a bunch of shit to hand in. And you can go ahead and try to upgrade your weapon. I wasn't able to here, but if you're able to, go ahead, and then we'll meet back at the
Undead Lockaway
in the Huntsman's Cock. All right, guys, we're at the Undead Lockaway. I know this kind of seems like it's going on and on, but we are pretty close to finishing part 2, so just hang in there and we're going to get through it. We're going to take out these skeletons again. We don't need to worry about a torch this time. You can light it if you want. We don't have to. We have lit everything before. Wow, that was really rude by that skeleton there. Really, really rude. We've lit everything already, so we really don't need to. You should go ahead and take out the curse pots, though, because while you're fighting these skeletons, you might not pay attention, and your curse meter might go up, and then it's like, okay, cool, I'm hollow now. That's nice. If you missed the crystal lizard before, by all means, go get him. This is a great opportunity to get him on the way back. Remember, we spoke to the NPC Creighton when we found him, when we just unlocked that Undead Lockaway hut. Well, he's going to help us with the boss. He just doesn't know it yet. So we'll go ahead and take out the last couple of skeletons before we go in there. Again, don't even think about jumping over there to get that item. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. It's not worth it. And we will sally forth. We're going to go through the hole in the wall here, and we are going to take a right. Straight to the fog gate. We do not need torch anymore. So get your shield on. And if you want to chug up here, go ahead. I'm just going through my inventory, making sure that we're wearing the best shit. Just like we talked about before. Sometimes you pick stuff up, you don't notice, you forget all about it. And yeah, just make sure you got your best stuff on, but also make sure you're still wearing the agape ring. We must never take that off for the remainder of this whole character. So this boss, the Skeleton Lords, there's 3 skeleton, big bad skeleton dudes. Now, I know it's tempting to take them out one by one, and then like you go kill one, and then you go kill the second one, and then you go kill the third one. Don't do that. Here's what you do. Kill one of them. Then, after he dies, he's going to summon a bunch of skeleton minions. Okay? If you kill all 3 skeleton lords in a short period of time, you are going to have an army of skeletons on your ass. Don't do that. So you'll notice we got a nice backstab on that bone wheel skeleton. That's pretty good. Try that in Dark Souls 1. So yeah, one of the skeleton lords will generate 2 bone wheel skeletons. And I didn't take my own advice there, which is okay. The bone wheels are kind of the major pain in the ass. But yeah, one of the skeleton lords will generate 2 bone wheels. One of them will generate some regular skeletons like you see here, and then the other one will generate some kind of armored skeletons. And Creighton's doing a great job keeping them off of our ass. But, you know, you still got to be careful in here. We really haven't leveled up a whole lot. And definitely want to be cautious. We don't want to have to do this more than once. But if we do have to do this more than once, it's not the end of the world. And all things considered, that was actually pretty easy. Thank you, Creighton. Sure we'll see you again one day. And we'll get to this area. We have to turn the lever to bring the bridge down, which takes about 30 years. It's just typical Dark Souls 2. We're going to pad the game however we have to make it seem like the game is actually longer artificially than it needs to be. And don't get me wrong, guys, I love Dark Souls 2, but it is not unworthy of criticism. It's just like anything else that's good. So we got a little poison pool here. We're going to get to the bonfire, and once we're done at the bonfire, we'll head back to Majula. Alright, so if you guys weren't able to get that crystal lizard on the way to the skeleton lords, you gotta go back and do it, because with the materials you get from that crystal lizard, you should be able to get your sword to +7, so go ahead and get that done. Also, this is our last chance to get our dex to 12, so we can use our short bow, which we will be using in the next area. So, when we've got all that done, we'll warp to the poison pool bonfire to continue. Alright guys, we are at the poison pool. We're very close. There's a few things we need to talk about. There's Chloanne, you can speak to her. I'm not going to do
Too much.
extra. I'm just going to go right to our objective, which actually involves killing the skeleton, because otherwise he'll never leave us alone. But we're going to run through the poison, and we end up getting poisoned here, which is, you know, whatever. The poison in this game does not last like a super duper long time. You really want to be careful though. If you're going to grab stuff in that poison pool, you really got to be careful, because the skeletons are just going to gank your ass. Ow. So let's be very careful, and especially the big guy in there, stay away from him. Now remember, I asked you to pick up those fire arrows when we were in No Man's Warp. Here's where we actually need them. And that's perfect, because we don't want to have to waste any of our souls on arrows.
Perfect.
So equip your fire arrows, and then remember, I also asked you to get the short bow from the blacksmith shop, right? So this is exactly where we need to use them. We're going to shoot those lovely ladies. Believe me, guys, if you know what the fuck they look like underneath those things that they're wearing, you don't want to know. Dude, believe me, it's a trap you don't want to know. I'm not saying I got any insider information, it's just... Okay, let's just get on with it here. And of course, as luck would have it, anything to waste our time, that's the Dark Souls 2 way. Once those two lovely ladies are out of the picture, now this is easy. We got a nice, easy walk to the next bonfire. And unfortunately, in order to access the next bonfire, we have to climb a ladder and pull on a lever in order to open up that little wooden gate there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Yeah, without arrows, guys, like those ladies will just, you try to get up and fight them melee, they'll just blow you right up. So it's totally not worth it. Now we got a bonfire in here. We are so close to finishing part 2, you're not even going to believe it. Okay, we'll rest up at the bonfire, get all our Estus back. And now, I'm not going to waste my time here, but there's 3 crystal lizards. I would advise you guys, go ahead and get those crystal lizards. They are a pain in the ass, especially with the wall. I'm not going to waste any time. You guys can go ahead and do that on your own time. We're going to walk out here. Now, you can avoid this green guy. You don't have to fight him if you don't want to. You can fight him, though. It's not a bad idea to get him out of the way. You just don't want to stand in one place for too long. Take a left here. We're almost there, guys. It's so close. We're so close to the end. And this, finally, is where we can access the Sunlight Covenant. Heirs of the Sun, actually, they call it in this game. And that is a big deal. It has been a long journey to get here, but that is what it takes in Dark Souls 2. This is what we have to do, and of course, praise the sun, boys. We did it. Okay? So we're almost done. Of course we're going to equip that gesture. It's the shit. Now, all well and good. You can bone back from here if you want. I'll just show you how to get back if you want to walk it. You want to save your bones. You can absolutely do that. Again, there's a poison pool here with two bad dudes, big bad dudes, and some real good upgrade materials, but I'm not going to waste my time. You guys can go ahead and do that. I'm not going to show you what it looks like. If you guys want to negotiate that, go ahead. There's some really good upgrade materials in there. We're going to head back actually to the Forest of the Fallen Giants, so meet me there. All right, guys, welcome to part 3. Thanks for sticking it out, and thanks for bearing with me. We are almost done with the character. This is our last mission objective, and it is so simple. It is just sweet and fast and to the point. You are going to love it. It is going to seem like a breath of fresh air after everything that we've been through already. So here's what we're going to do. From the Forest of the Fallen Giants, second bonfire, we're going to head this way, go up this ladder here. Now, there's a specific reason we're going to do this. Yes, we are... You don't have to go get this. This is just, you know, light crossbow. If you want to go get that, go ahead. I didn't remember what the hell that was, so whatever. Go this way and take out the wagon. Remember, we're trying to get the white sign soapstone. That is the last thing that we have to do before we can assist other players, new players. By the way, there's an illusory wall here in the event that you didn't know that. We're going to come back for those items later. Take out these guys here. And, you know, we got a nice parry on that guy, but these other guys ruined it. So, of course, we're going to make them pay the price for that. That was just rude. Rude. You don't do that to a good, nice, hard-working Sunbro, dude. You don't do that. You absolutely don't do that. So, kill all the guys in here. Pick up whatever items you want. We do have to come back this way. Now, it's critical. You have to go back to the beginning here and make sure the gate closes, okay? So once the gate's closed, now we can go back. We're going to speak to the guy on the other side of the gate. That's Pate. And you can go get this stuff if you want. I mean, I don't know. You can see I've got a few extra souls left over. I could level up my sorcery if I wanted to do that, just to maybe be able to cast some pew-pews or something like that. I think I'll just hang on to those souls for now. Drop down here, provided you got enough
HP.
And speak to our friend Pate. He was trying to tell us, he would have told us, that there is danger up ahead, which he's absolutely right. I think he just wanted us to go in there and get killed, actually. But this is the payoff right here. The white sign soapstone. This is what we came here for. We saved almost the best for last. Definitely the easiest for last. And we can exhaust his dialogue. We don't give a shit about this guy. You know, you can bop him in the head if you want to. I don't care. Equip your white sign soapstone if you like in your hotbar. I like to put it in my hotbar. You don't have to. I also like to put my banishing crystal in there just in case, who knows, you lose the host or something, or something happens, you want to leave, you can easily do that. You don't have to fumble through your menu for that. But yeah, that is it, guys. We have completed all 3 of our main mission objectives. And as you can see here, when we place our white sign, it is actually a brilliant golden yellow Sunbro sign. Now, isn't that beautiful? Just look at it.
Just look at it. Just look at it.
Well, that's gonna do it. You can see, obviously, I've selected a different character here, but still very much low-level Sunbro. It is a huge undertaking to make all this happen, to get the agape ring, to become a Sunbro, and then to finally get the white soapstone. To say it's an arduous journey is to put it lightly. I'm so happy I was able to get this done during the annual Return to Drangleic. And guys, I want you to get out there and put your brilliant golden signs down so that you too can help those new players and those not so new players. You won't get any souls out of it as long as you've got your agape ring on, but you'll get lots of sunlight medals and, better yet, the opportunity to give a helping hand to your fellow bearer of the curse. And I can tell you this much, there won't be too many other golden signs on the floor in the Forest of the Fallen Giants. Well, actually, I hope there are. I hope more than 5 people watch this video and get the word out. Yes, it is a challenge to become a low-level Sunbro in this game, but I think you'll agree that it is perfectly doable, and I hope I've inspired you to get out there and make it happen. If you got something out of this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing, as I plan on doing more video guides like this in the future. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see your grossly incandescent fine ass later.